All right, this is tutorial 4. It's a short one. I'm going to show you just a few things down the side here. Until now, we've only worked with basic shapes, and there's quite a few basic shapes, but there's a lot more to it than that. So if you go to basic shapes, use the little arrow here, click down. You can choose different text. We'll get into text today, and I'll explain how that works in just a minute here. But I'm going to go down to symbols real quick. The one thing I want is a die, so I'm going to pull that die in here, and we'll get to it later. Let's go back. There's extras, there's circuits, and then you get to the community. Community shape generators are really amazing. You can actually go way up here to the shape generator editor. You can create your own shape generators. When you get really good and really into something like this, you can do that. But there's some great stuff in community shape generators. I'm just going to click that so you can see some of the things that load. Sometimes it does take a little while to load, but there's actual useful gears. There's all kinds of really neat things. And then not only is this just a shape, but you can generate it because you can choose all these different options to go with it. So let's say I wanted curved custom text. I could do that. I wanted a bent pipe. So this is already a bent cylinder with another whole cylinder through it. And that's already all created for you. There's custom font text. You can do things like that. There's chainmail, all different kinds of stuff that you can work with. So many really, really neat shape generators. One that kids like to use is this Rock Mountain one. Let me pull that out here. It looks really cool. It is almost 100% impossible to print, so you want to kind of stay away from some of those. Really neat to start and draw with, or to make a neat design with, but you don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm going to go back to the text in generators here, and I'm going to zoom in because I want to put some numbers on my die. I'll scroll back up. We'll start with a number 1. So I put a 1 right here. Now, the 1 came in and went on my work plane like it was supposed to. Went right down on my work plane. But now I'm going to have to click on that 1, pull it up where I want it, slide it over where I want it to be. It's still not high enough, so I need to pull it up some more. Then I'm going to have to go slide it over and get it in there. And now I'll use an arrow key to make it perfect. Okay, so that gave me the 1 where I wanted. There's an alternative to this. I'm going to slide this one out of the way. Moving your work plane from here to another area, to another plane, you can drop things right where you want them. So I'm going to click work plane, and I'm going to say that I want the work plane right on this surface. Now it's turned orange, and you can see it has moved to a different spot. So all I have to do is click on the 1 now, and when I put the 1 there, I can move my work plane back with 2 clicks, and that 1 is perfectly lined up. It works great for things like a roof on a house or something on top of a cylinder, whatever you need to do. And all I would need to do is sink this guy down if I want to. Also, what I'm going to do is sink it down 1 millimeter. I'm going to turn it into a hole so that when I select these, I can group them. And now I've got a recessed 1 in my die. I don't know what is supposed to go underneath the 1 here. I'll just make this a 2. So I'm going to move my work plane to here. I'll grab a 2, put it where I want it. I'm going to have to resize this guy. He's a little large, but you get the idea. Then I'm going to sink it in 1, turn it into a hole. When I regroup these, draw a band, group, now I've got my sunken 2. Work plane needs to go back where it belongs, so I just click it back where it belongs with 2 clicks. It's really amazing and easy to move a work plane. Makes it a lot easier than having to do lots of movements and rotations. Let me show you how hard it would be to do that too. So I want to put a 3 on this face right here. I'm sure it's not the right order, but whatever. I bring my 3 in manually. Now to get it here, I'm going to have to do a 90 spin, so put the mouse closer to the object to get a 90-degree spin. Now I need to stand it up, so I need a 90-degree spin this way. Once it's spun this way at a 90, now I'm going to need to raise it up, slide it over, figure out whether it's touching or not. It is not, so now I need to, I'll arrow key that in, one notch, make it a hole. It's possible, and I can do it fairly quickly, but it is so much easier to move that work plane. Let's show you again. I want to put a 4 right here. So work plane, move it to here. 4 in, already rotated and done. Then all I have to do is click that thing, move it in 1. Oops, went the wrong way there. Move it in 1 with this guy. Boom, make it a hole. It's done. I can move my work plane back to where it belongs. And when I group it, I've got exactly what I wanted. Now it's not perfectly centered, I was just moving quickly, but you get the idea. Moving the work plane is a very, very convenient thing. I'm gonna use the home button, get back to the beginning, move that die out of the way, and show you another use for moving the work plane. If I were building a castle, this would be one of my towers, but I want a peak on it. I want to put a cone on top. So I'm going to go down and find a cone. Here's one right here. I could drop the cone, raise the cone, slide it in, zoom in. Now I've got to get that height just right. If I go one too high, I'll have an air gap, and you can see that gap right there. This would never print. So I got to get it lined up that way. Now I'm too high. I got to come back down low. Many, many different steps where I could just say work plane. On the surface, I want to place the object. Get the object. Put it where I want it. Move the work plane back. And now I'm guaranteed that there's a perfect fit, no air gap, nothing too high or too low. It's already done. Makes things a lot easier. Learning to move the work plane is not something you have to do, but it will make all of your designs much, much easier, and everything will be just that much better for it. Next, in the tutorials, we're going to go into building some different objects, but for now, I want you to discover, go around, look at the different shape generators. Definitely check out community shape generators. Go through there, play around, pull some stuff in there, and move that work plane around. Try moving that work plane, and it does change your perspective, and it's a little disorienting at first, but it will make your design so much better. So give that work plane a try and go into anything other than basic shapes and play around with that.